All right, I am 48 hours with the van and it's been absolutely chaotic. So I thought this is a great moment to pick up the camera and record like where am I, what's going on. And I will definitely do a tour of the van in another video, but like let's look at what the last 48 hours have been like. Where am I right now? And why am I wearing this headset? Because I am parked on the side of the road in Milan, major second largest city in Italy. And this is where I'm parked as I'm trying to migrate my life out of my apartment and into the van because most of my life is inside my soon to be old apartment in Milan. So the last 48 hours have included picking up the van and then trying to move myself into the van. So far, in terms of things that could go wrong, not that much. But like, let's walk through why is this super chaotic. So first I picked up the van in Turin, which is about a 2-hour drive from Milan. The rental location was fantastic. The people were amazing. I'm super, super happy with that experience and the walkthrough. Except there was one thing they forgot to tell me, which we'll come back to in a little bit. It explains why I'm eating my meat and cheese because my refrigerator is not working. So I picked up the van, but it's about 20 minutes after leaving the facility, I noticed the air pressure light came on, which either means the tire pressure's low or there's a screw in the tire. So I panic, I immediately pull off into a service station, and luckily, because it's a weekday, there was somebody working, and I used my intermediate Italian to ask him to help me, and he measured all the tires and they were fine. So I just said to myself, it's probably one of those situations where they reset the tires and didn't, set the clock in these fancy cars. Turns out that that's true, and I don't have a tire pressure issue. But 20 minutes out of the gate, I was immediately like, oh shit. So I drive 2 hours to Milan that night, and I stop and get some dinner because I realize it's 7 p.m. Pull into Milan, and I immediately start hauling all of my things from my apartment into the van. I didn't have a specific plan to sleep in the van that night. We say in Italian, piano piano, step by step, moment by moment, we see where things take me. And I got everything transferred over to the van, and my friend actually, who lives a 5-minute walk away, he came over and came inside the van and gave me a high five. So that was really nice to have him step in. So I found places for everything. And again, I'll do a tour later to show you where I put everything and if everything fit. And that night I was just absolutely super tired and thought, this isn't the best place to sleep in the van because, as you may or may not be able to tell in the video, there are cars driving by. And while the noise isn't that loud, if they're going fast, sometimes you hear the zoom. And what's actually more bothersome is it shakes the car a little bit, or the van, it shakes a little bit if something big drives by. It's just the wind. So I thought, this is not an ideal place to sleep. Not even sure if I'm allowed to, but I'm definitely allowed to park here overnight. So it's €2 per hour to park on the street here. But between midnight and 8 a.m., it's totally free. And on the weekends and holidays, it's totally free. So that night, I decided, okay, I'm going to try and sleep in the van and see how it goes. Because everything was in the van, including all my toiletries. So I passed out that night. And I actually slept way better than I expected. I was not super comfortable. I felt a little bit stiff on the mattress. And that first night sleeping anywhere was not great. But I slept better than I expected. And in the morning, I woke up and just started adding parking because it's an app on the phone. I could just turn it on and start adding so I could sleep in a little bit. But I needed to do work that day. And so I thought, I'm staying near the apartment in case things just don't work because I haven't tried everything out. I haven't plugged something into an outlet. I haven't tried cooking lunch. I haven't used the shower. I just used the toilet to urinate. So I wanted to stay near my apartment in Milan because until I figured out each little thing, I need that backup plan to use the bathroom, use the shower, or take a work meeting because all of my work is done remotely, but a good 70% of it is just being in virtual meetings. Today is Friday. I picked up the van Wednesday, so I've been in here 48 hours. So yesterday, Thursday, I learned really quickly I needed to go back to the apartment, and I spent almost all day there because I learned that while my van is equipped to handle 220-volt appliances like charging a laptop, it only works when the van is plugged into electricity, which I'm not because I'm parked on the side of a street. I would need to be parked at a kind of a camping facility or place that actually has electrical hookups for camper vans. So pretty quickly my devices were dead. I have batteries, but it was not going to last me all day. So I packed everything up and I went to the apartment, and I went ahead and showered while I was there. I finished my work around 7 p.m. and then I thought, okay, I need piano. I need to get out of Milan and try to test out more of these things. But I'm staying near Milan because, again, if they don't work out and I need an emergency situation, I can just come back to my apartment. We also have this fantastic app called Park 4 Night. I would not be able to do this without Park 4 Night, at least in Europe. I've paid for premium already because you can filter for places that have a shower or a bathroom or electricity hookups or places to dump your water or all of those things. And you can filter by rating, and it's heavily used by everyone in Europe. So lots and lots of reviews that you can read through and see how recent they are, see if you're allowed to sleep there overnight. So I have that at my disposal, but most of those places are at least an hour from Milan because they're closer to the lake areas like Como and Lecco and Bergamo. So I need to commit to an hour drive and possibly an hour return drive if something goes wrong. So yesterday after work, I thought, all right, I'm going to get out of Milan, find somewhere to go park and sleep for the night that has electrical hookups. So I drove about 1 hour to Varese. There's a lake over there, and I had done research in advance, and I'd favorited and starred a bunch of areas over there that would work for me. There was one that I was taking a chance on. It said there's 15 spots to park. 4 of them have electrical hookups. But we are in January, winter 2025, so I thought there's a pretty decent chance that there's nobody there because most camper van people are traveling in the summertime. They're not living in their accommodation, their van full time. So I drove about 1 hour, and I get there and all 4 of the hookups were taken by other camper vans. Fuck. So my options were try and find something else in the area, 2, drive back to Milan, accept defeat, and stay near the apartment, or 3, try to go out a little bit further to something that was a equivalent. Electricity hookup was primarily what I was looking for because what I wanted to try to do was wake up and work all day today, Friday, with electrical hookups because of the laptop issue. Okay. So I decide I'm going to try this place over at Lecco, which is a lake to the east of Varese, and it's past Como. So Como's kind of in between. All of this is north of Milan. It's about a 1 hour drive. So I drive 1 hour, and I'm reaching now at around 10 p.m. The spot's right on the lake. It's run by the municipality, the local comune, has electrical hookups, and overnight it's free, and then during the daytime you pay. It's like €2 an hour, maximum €15 for a camper van. So I arrived there around 10 p.m. I'm tired, and I'm thinking, if this place does not have space to plug in electrically, then I'm parking for the night to sleep, and I will just drive back to Milan tomorrow and go back to my apartment and work because I need the electricity. But at least for sleeping, I can come to this parking lot and sleep for the night. So I did. I pulled in. I made a late dinner, and I then quickly learned that while the electricity hookups were there and they were fantastic, my internet did not work. So I had already tried this on Thursday, yesterday, from when I was in the van and I quickly ran out of battery. I had tried hotspotting my phone that I'm using right now. It's an iPhone 11. And just simple Zoom meetings. I got kicked out of one meeting twice, and I thought this is not good for client-facing meetings. So I thought, I don't know what to do about internet. internet's proving to be the biggest problem because I had done this research to figure out that I could just hotspot my phone. But yesterday, trying it out, it was immediately not working well. So I get to let go, and I have a different problem. I have less, like 4G internet, but it's like 1 bar. And so when I try to hotspot my laptop onto my phone, it just simply won't connect. So I could lay in bed and, check email and text and WhatsApp and Instagram, but trying to connect my laptop to do, like, buy some things on Amazon, it wasn't working. So I thought, great, I've got electrical hookups, but now I don't have internet. So this morning, we're on day 2, really. Now, I'm at 48 hours now, roughly. This morning, after I woke up to this beautiful view of the lake, I unplugged my camper, made all my technical checks to get on the road, and I drove into Milan, knowing that I needed to work from my apartment in Milan today. Now, my friend had told me that part of the internet problem is that this van it's so much metal that the signal has a difficult time getting in, and that I need to keep the phone by the window. And he also recommended maybe it's, getting a little router and putting a little Wi-Fi 5G extension on the roof, and that might help. Well, then throughout the day, I thought I'm going to need to buy some extra giga package from my phone provider anyway. So I had on my to-do list to figure out the 5G and get a little, thing for the roof. So I went into the app and I purchased the extra giga for Italy, so that I can hotspot and not run out of data for the month. And it was 5G, so I activated it. And it was like, it's unlimited giga in Italy, which is really about 600 giga, which is totally fine. And it's €7. Great. But I noticed on my phone that I could only have 4G and 3G. And I had searched, iPhone 14 is 5G enabled, and the answer was yes. So I was rebooting my phone and trying to figure out and Googling and researching, why is my phone not showing 5G? Thinking it was just a delay in the service provider kicking it to my phone. Then I checked my phone and it's an 11, not a 14. So my phone is unfortunately not 5G enabled. But I have a work phone that is a Samsung and it is 5G enabled. That SIM card is my Dutch phone number, my Dutch business phone number. So this afternoon, I just swapped the SIMs. So now my personal phone has my work SIM in it, and my work phone has my personal SIM in it, which is largely fine because I don't actually use the native texting or calling on these phones. Once I switched the SIM cards, I was at home earlier and I did a little hotspot of what is the work phone, but has my personal SIM card in it with the unlimited giga. And it worked really good. I didn't get kicked out of my virtual meetings. It seemed really flawless. So I'm going to try. I have a couple more meetings tonight that I'm going to take from the van. And the reason I came back to the van was I realized that the temperature was dropping. It was almost 3 degrees outside. And once it reaches 0 degrees and freezing, there's a risk that the water pipes freeze, and that's really bad. So I needed to get back to the van and turn on the gas heating because I had left it this afternoon with the heating turned off. So I came back here. I'm going to try taking this meeting this evening from the hotspot, and we'll see how it goes. When I got back to the van, I noticed that the fridge did not really feel cold. And I put stuff in there, not last night, but the night before, 2 nights ago. And it's some milk, cheese, meat, and just a few things. So I was about to text in WhatsApp the rental place, and because I remembered the guy never walked me through the refrigerator, so I just thought it's on. It just does its thing. But before I text them, I pulled up the user manual and I was reading it, and I realized he never showed me the fridge, and also it was not turned on. So I'm quickly just eating the meat and cheese and hope I don't get sick. And luckily I did not spoil a bunch of stuff in there. But now I know the workings of the refrigerator. Tomorrow is the 3rd day, and I am going to what I'm really trying to do is make sure that I feel independent in the van. I also want to try the shower. So hopefully this weekend I will get to try that out. But this is the first 48 hours is really keeping myself close to my apartment in the middle of a massive city with, €2 per hour parking, and keeping myself close so that when something doesn't work out as I need to, I can rush back and deal with it. And hopefully within the next week, I will feel independent and I can unlock myself and release myself from that apartment. So more to come in future videos, especially the walkthrough, but I hope this is helpful for someone hearing what the first 48 hours is like in a van when you've tried to completely detach yourself from an apartment and get in the van. There's just so many learning curves, and I'm still going.